the Fantasy Footballers Podcast, coming to you from the FantasyJocks.com studios with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Championship weekend for many of you. Keep it right here. The Fantasy Footballers back again Friday, December 23rd. My children are getting very excited. Not for the football, but for the Christmas.
Oh, man.
The Christmas
We're
is
those
approaching.
Those days.
I've told my children, if Dad doesn't get the championship, no one does.
No Christmas.
No one does, so
Ooh.
Christmas goes in the furnace.
Alexa informed me that there are only 2 days left till Christmas this morning.
That's very handy.
That's you put the device in there, and it's a countdown to Christmas.
Unbelievable.
Can you set it up?
$9.99.
Can you set it up on a timer so that it's just going 24 hours a day, just counting down till Christmas?
Oh, like second by second?
Yes.
Well, it is powered by AC, so it's possible. Welcome to the show. We've got a great Friday for you.
Sorry, quick update. You mocked me on my Thurs comment, yet Twitter came to support me. Apparently Thursday is translated from Thor's Day, which was named for the Greek god of thunder, Thor. So the more you know. Very entertaining things. Thank you, Twitter.
Twitter's really good for just giving a pat on the back to any idea. There's enough people out there.
Someone's going to like you.
I know, like seeking knowledge and information is terrible.
Yeah. Yes, it is. All right. We've got news.
Hey, Andy, what's a fry? Today's Friday. What's a fry?
You eat them.
Are you being Mike? Because you sound just like him.
Yeah, I know.
News and notes. The
I'm
second
seeking
half.
knowledge,
the
bro.
second half of the fantasy forecast. The daily dose. I guess we don't have daily dose on today, but we do have the DFS picks by Ben Cummins on the website. We also have some bonus articles up there for Christmas, including a Christmas Day Awards article by Kyle Borgignani.
Oh, you almost got it.
Yeah,
You
it's
missed-
baloney.
You mispronounced Kyle Baloney.
All right, we've got we got this on the show today too.
FootClan Friday.
You need to seek some knowledge on your dancing moves there, Jason.
Dude,
No,
Twitter, Twitter, come support me
That was a
on
white Christmas right there. That's what that was. And if you want to see it for yourself, go to YouTube and check it out. Because Jason, he was really jamming. He was jamming out.
Jamming like a middle-aged white man can.
All right, the FootClan.
Hit him with a twist.
Hit him with the twist. The FootClan Friday winner is Robert Corrali.
All right.
Not Robert Kelly, but Robert Corrali. Congratulations. You win a gift card to shopballers.com, which will come in handy when you win your FootClan title and want to grab that FootClan title t-shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Every Friday, we give out a gift to a JoinTheFoot.com supporter. We appreciate your patronage, Mr.
Yes.
Robert Corrali.
And everyone over there. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
So,
you very much.
quick question of the day, twofold. I'm going to allow you guys to briefly share your opinions of last night's game,
Why, thank you.
but then we're going to translate that. Yeah, I'm going to allow you. Permission granted. I'm going to then transition us into the implications of the result of last night's game, which is that Dallas has now clinched home field advantage throughout the playoffs. There's 2 weeks left in the season, and a lot of guys in championship week have Ezekiel Elliott and want to know what Zeke and Dez and Dak and those players, how are their workloads going to be affected? So that's part two of the question. But first, last night's affair, the Giants handed a defeat by the Eagles. Eli Manning didn't help things with 3 interceptions. The defense, to me, I did not rate any New York Giant high except for Odell Beckham Jr. because he can overcome those defenses. But the worry was pretty much what happens. That Philly's a pretty good defense. They're at home, the divisional matchup, and it's not going to come easy for the Giants, and they didn't help themselves. So fantasy-wise, you didn't get much of anything from anyone except for Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah, Beckham came
It's
through.
Sterling
Well,
Shepard.
Shepard.
Sterling Shepard,
If
yeah.
you were in a 3 wide receiver league and you played Shepard, that you're very happy with that.
Sure, absolutely.
But Beckham, so Jason and I are watching this game, and both of us are in our championship rounds happen to be up against Odell Beckham. and you get into to around the third quarter, you're like, man, Beckham's been pretty quiet tonight,
he's
right?
Done very little.
You open up the app, 15 points. Wait,
Just chunking away.
wait, what? What? Because even when he's silent, like, or appears to be silent because he's not making the normal Odell Beckham splash play, he's crushing it for fantasy.
I feel like Odell Beckham turned in what we need for a Week 16 performance. Odell Beckham owners were happy.
Yes.
Everyone playing against Odell Beckham were also somewhat happy that he didn't get a touchdown and go crazy, even though he had a pretty solid game. In defense of Eli Manning with the interceptions, I would just say that those 3 passes were terrible, and that he's not a very good quarterback. On the other side of the ball, for Philly, Zach Ertz was a very big disappointment to this guy.
Yeah, he was. And Ryan Matthews didn't do enough either.
Darren Sproles was pretty much your lone bright spot. I don't think anybody out there played Nelson Agholor or Zach Ertz.
The Eagles didn't even know they played Agholor.
The Eagles D.
No, they did. He got a touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a joke.
Oh.
I'm aware they know that they started him. It was
Yes.
Well, I thought you were clowning on Agholor, who finally did something.
I was.
He
Yep.
finally caught a pass, and it was a touchdown.
Yeah.
The Eagles D, obviously they've been very good this year for fantasy, and they came through again, taking one of those picks to the house.
15.
And now let's talk Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah, 15 carries for Paul Perkins, 9 for Rashad Jennings. Perkins is the one to own next week if you need him. All right. The Giants' loss means the Cowboys have clinched home field advantage throughout the playoffs. I've seen many Twitter questions flooding this morning. People with different options, like Spencer Ware over Ezekiel Elliott, worried about the workload for Ezekiel Elliott. Now, Dallas has come out and said they're not into resting their players. However, I think we need to temper volume expectations for Ezekiel Elliott. My opinion of Zeke this week is you start him because you start him because you start him. But I don't think you're going to see 20-plus carries from Ezekiel Elliott, and I think you need to go and acquire Darren McFadden if he's available in your league immediately, because in Week 17 that workload could even diminish more to the point where we don't know what they're going to come out and say. We don't know what's going to happen to Ezekiel Elliott this week. I'm expecting 17 to 18 carries, a good performance, but your upside is capped. They are not trying to clinch home field advantage.
Yeah, I will say we do have some history, and in fact, very recent history from the Cowboys. 2014, they were locked. Playoff spot was locked up. Seed was not going to change. Tony Romo played 57 of 63 snaps. DeMarco Murray had 22 carries. So they're not overly concerned about this. We need to rest everyone's situation. Zeke is still chasing that.
Yeah.
The rookie record for rushing. I would imagine Jason Garrett wants to allow him the option or the opportunity to get that. But so the only thing that concerns me is if there is a minor injury of some kind to Zeke, maybe they pull him out a little bit early and he doesn't force his way through it, like a twisted ankle or something. But to me, it's Week 16. Everything is normal to me. But I completely agree that if you play through to Week 17, you need to have Darren McFadden.
Yeah, it's just wise.
Just in case.
Yeah, it's just a wise move because I agree. He twists an ankle. Maybe he could play Week 17. Why do it? But that number, 258. 258 is all the yards he needs to have the record, and I'm sure Jerry Jones wants it. I agree with your wisdom, but I'm telling you, Andy, I'll make a water bet Zeke has 20 carries.
The bottom line is that we all say nothing changes on starting him this week.
Correct.
If he only picks up 75 yards in this game and he's on the board for, he needs another 175, they're not going to run him into the ground in Week 17 right before the playoffs to get that record. So it does matter what happens this week. If he puts up 150 and he needs 108 yards next week,
he's playing.
He's playing. So I think that's kind of where we're sitting. And obviously next week, hopefully you don't play your championship next week. But if you
Dak, I'm not concerned about Dak. If you are in a situation where you're playing him, I don't think the Cowboys can play Romo.
Yeah.
Because if Romo comes in and plays well, Dallas is going to explode, and there's going to be a quarterback problem.
Two quarterbacks on the field at one time. That's what we need.
news and notes from around the league.
This is terrible news.
We're not even into in and outer yet.
Oh, all right.
In and outer? That's what I said. Is there any other news other than injury news that we're catching people up on? Because I'm not seeing any.
The Dallas news, and that's about it.
Yeah, it's really injuries.
What's it gonna be, McFly? Are you in or out?
All right, Jared Goff, the one quarterback that we all want to know about. In or out?
Jason wants to know.
Unfortunately, he has cleared concussion protocol. I'm happy for him.
Okay, I was going to say.
I'm happy for him, the man. I'm just unhappy for the man, Sean Leon.
Moving to running backs, Melvin Gordon, Jeremy Hill, Matt Forte. What do we know about those three?
Melvin Gordon not practicing. Do not expect him to play.
It's a green light for Kenneth Farrell against Cleveland.
It is for me.
I was just reading Cleveland is since their bye week, they are telling San Francisco, you know what? I'll take your run defense. I'm gonna raise it. I'm gonna raise it up.
It's a competition
by bringing it down.
Well, competition's good.
Jeremy Hill's back at practice. Matt Forte has not practiced, and I agree with what Mike said earlier this week, which is if Matt Forte is active and is named the starter, I am not moving Bilal Powell down. Matt Forte is not going to get volume in this game. If he does play, he's got, a torn MCL or a
now he's got a shoulder, a nerve.
meniscus.
Yeah, it was a
meniscus.
torn meniscus, and now nerve damage in his shoulder.
Yeah, I mean they're not going to give him a ton of work, and Bilal Powell, I believe, is going to be very good this week. He had 11 receptions last week, so if the Patriots start, getting up in the game, oh no.
He actually got his name from those old Batman comics.
Yeah.
He did. The Adam West show.
Yep.
Blow pow.
All right, Adrian Peterson, Lamar Miller, Theo, Riddick, the last three running backs, in or out for those guys?
I'm going Peterson out, Riddick out, Lamar Miller.
That's the interesting
If I had a panic button, I'd push it.
Yeah, this is a problem. He has not practiced through Thursday. He had that ankle injury. You have the game on Saturday.
He's going to
I think he's going to play.
I think he's going to play, but
agree.
can you play him?
And that's a great question. Here's what I am definitely doing. I'm moving Lamar Miller down in my ranks a bit. I think he's going to be a guy that you might have to play. You might have to start him, but if you've got three good options and you only need to start two and you saw Lamar as a good one, you might want to go with your other two solid running backs. Start your Todd Gurley's and sit Lamar if you have the luxury to do that, because if he's not practicing on a Thursday, this was the day I said all week, if he's limited, which I expect, that's fine. But if he misses, he's hurt.
When you don't practice on Thursday,
right,
there's an issue. Wide receivers, Julio Jones, he's going to play. He's even off the injury report today.
Yeah.
Start your Julios.
Oh, yeah.
AJ Green says he's playing on Saturday.
They're back.
And I'm playing.
So I want to get your take on this because somebody tweeted me today because I had AJ Green, not in the upper echelon this week, and said, oh, you don't believe in him. The way I ranked these guys this week myself was Julio is sitting around that 8 to 10 range. AJ Green is more at the back end wide receiver 2 range for me, with AJ Green upside. So,
right. So you still play him.
I'm hedging. Yeah, you play him, but I'm hedging the fact that you're coming off an injury. He's the one saying he's playing. Who knows what the snap count's going to be?
Yep. Stefon Diggs returned to practice Thursday, ruining my Adam Thielen hook.
In or out, Jordan Reed.
Out. I mean, he's either
Gruden.
He's either going to be out of the game or he's going to be out of your fantasy lineup.
Yeah, he's going to be out.
You're looking for one big catch if you were to play him.
You're just hoping he gets 1 for 7 and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Right, and then a writhing injury. Tyler Eifert hasn't practiced all through Thursday with his back.
That's not good because some guys have a history of being super slow coming back from injury.
I was going to say Eifert is the opposite of Wolverine.
Right, yes. He's got degenerative power. He can degenerate.
His bones are made of silly putty.
Well, I'm not saying that he's extremely injury prone. I'm just saying when he's hurt, it takes forever.
There's no adamantium. Is that what it's called?
Yes, there is. No, it's plywood.
Gregory Olsen hasn't practiced through Thursday, but is expected to play.
Yeah, Olsen,
in or out?
Olsen will play.
Yeah,
Ladarius Green, in or out?
I'm gonna say he's out. He still hasn't practiced with the concussion, so
Mr. Hooper. Austin Hooper.
He's out.
That's sad because he had a really nice matchup.
Yeah. All right. We are done with the updates there. Let's move it on. As long as oh, there it is.
Fantasy Forecast.
Another reminder to check out the website, thefantasyfootballers.com, and our Twitter @TheFFBallers for weather updates and reports before the games on Saturday and Sunday, but mostly Saturday.
You guys go
tomorrow, also known as.
If you're listening right now and you're thinking you haven't set your lineup yet, just do it right now because you will. This is not only is it on a Saturday when we're not used to it, but it's Christmas weekend. Like you got life happening.
Christmas parties and mistletoe and eggnog and don't mess up.
If you have to pause now to go set your lineups, do it as quick as
Whoa.
possible.
You like eggnog?
A lot of people like eggnog.
A lot of people like
including me.
Eggnog is like barf in a cup.
Here's
that's one perspective.
I love.
But I don't like you comparing him eggnog to Jared Goff.
I love eggnog in tiny portions.
Oh yeah.
Give me a little tiny cup of
sip?
eggnog. Yes. I mean, that's so delicious. The flavor is
Do you know
great.
because they use eggnog to put you to sleep for surgery. That's what they do.
But if I drink, don't pour me a giant glass of eggnog. I can't do that. It's too thick.
But would you sit down and drink a giant glass of milk?
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, you would?
Well, because it's eggnog. It's like, hey, I got this pancake batter. You want to drink it? Except it doesn't taste very good.
I'll sip it.
I'll make a pancake with it. All right. Saturday games, Jets and Patriots. Patriots just a little bit of favorites in this game. 16.5. That brings me back to those Randy Moss.
Those were the best.
They could not make the line big enough for those games.
Yeah, but who will the Patriots cover the spread?
16.5. Will they cover that spread?
I don't.
I think yes. I think they win by 17 points. I think that's perfect.
Yeah, I would take the points.
I don't think. I mean, over under 10 points for the Jets.
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
go over.
I'll take the under.
I'll go over.
I mean, it's going to be around there. I mean, do the Jets have any chance of scoring 20? Because I feel like
no.
Pretty much no.
No.
I don't think they might not score. All right. 38 degrees outside, 44.5 point over under. Petty and Brady, a battle of opposites. We talked about Forte and Powell. We love Powell. We think we'd play Powell over a lot of guys this week. A great start. I love LeGarrette Blount. He's my start of the week. You're starting LeGarrette Blount, regardless of whether he's your start of the week.
I agree.
Right?
I agree with that.
Yeah, I moved LeGarrette Blount down. You and I disagree on him. But when I say down, that means he's an RB2, which is starting. So
Marshall?
Nope.
Marshall.
Nope.
Staying as far away from Marshall as possible. You can't
He
ask
could
for,
still have
He is
He could
super
still have
talented,
an okay week, but yeah, I'm
but
not
you
touching
can't ask for more than 11 targets, which is what he got last week, and he finished with a catch.
Oh, I told Jason about this yesterday, so I'm going on the record here. Your starting quarterback for the New York Jets next year, Jay Cutler.
Interesting.
Jay Cutler. Just putting it out there.
I was curious. Where do you guys think Mike Glennon goes?
Ooh,
Probably going to get $13 to $15 million leaving and becoming a quarterback someplace.
I think he will get a chance.
Cleveland?
Maybe.
He seems perfect for Cleveland.
Just a very unproven guy. We overpay him.
Yeah, he's the next. Is he next year's Osweiler or is he?
No.
I think he's better than Osweiler.
Yeah.
I do think he's better, but he won't get paid like Osweiler.
No, but he's going to get $13-15 million a year.
Yeah.
Other side, Edelman, Mitchell, Hogan.
I'm playing them all.
Yeah.
You're playing Hogan?
I would play Hogan.
All right.
And don't forget about Martellus Bennett, too. I really do believe this is the type of game where Brady could have 4 touchdowns. I want those pieces. I want the weapons in the passing game. The Jets have not been able to stop anyone through the air. Brady's coming off his worst game in Denver that I can remember. I really think he's going to throw I've got Brady ranked number 1 this week. That's my hope and expectation.
The Jets defense are averaging a sack every 22 pass attempts.
Yeah.
The Jets.
Well, and the Patriots,
which is the bottom. That's the bottom of the league. I mean,
he's going to have time. It's similar, though, to last week's game with the 49ers and the Falcons, where depending on how that first half goes, Matt Ryan, he had a good game, but
Devonta Freeman was who took over.
Exactly.
And that's why you like LeGarrette Blount. You see maybe he takes over. And then once that starts, then you just keep running the ball.
The Patriots, for our over-under discussion, have allowed just 10.7 points per game to anybody this year. So good luck, Bryce.
Now let me ask this question real quick before we move on from the Patriots. You like LeGarrette Blount because maybe they're up, they're going to run the ball. Last week it was Dion Lewis. Is there a chance here that Dion Lewis is actually the running back that gets involved?
There's a chance both of them have a lot of relevance.
Would you
I think
start
the second
Dion Lewis?
half could have a lot of Dion Lewis. No. I mean, over who?
Dion Lewis or Isaiah Crowell?
Crow.
Dion Lewis or Derrick Henry?
I'll take Henry.
Ooh, I have some interesting
In a
Henry.
PPR league, I will take Lewis in that matchup.
Okay.
All right, before we move on to the Colts and Raiders game, we want to thank today's sponsor. Look, it's Nature Box. We love Nature Box. We love snacks. You can start snacking healthy with Nature Box. And I'm telling you, it's December 23rd, right? You need a gift for somebody. When you do one of these subscriptions like Nature Box, you can go, sign up, gift it, print it, you're done. It's not like you're going to have to wait for this thing to get shipped to you right now to give that gift. You can go and do it right away. They make snacks that actually taste great.
They are so good.
And they're better for you. They are created with higher quality ingredients. They're free from artificial colors and flavors and sweeteners, so you can feel great about snacking. Look, my favorites on there, you want to go sweet and still feel good? Vanilla bean wafers. You got mini Belgian waffles.
I have those right now.
They're awesome.
Dude.
Mike's favorite, the Sriracha cashews.
They're so good.
They're incredible.
The jalapeno cashews are good too, by the way.
Great.
They recently made their service even better. You can order as much as you want now, as often as you want, with no minimum purchase required. You can cancel any time. And look, they've got a deal for you guys because that's what we do. We get you a deal on these good, high-quality services. They help support the show. There's over 100 snacks you can choose from. You never get bored. New snacks each month, and they are inspired by real customer feedback. So check it out. By the way, if you ever don't like a snack, they'll just replace it for free. That's pretty nice. They stand by what they do. Right now, you can save even more. Nature Box is offering Footballers listeners 50% off your first order when you go to naturebox.com/footballers. That's naturebox.com/footballers for 50% off your first order. Naturebox.com/footballers.
We want to thank Pristine Auction, making your sports memorabilia dreams come true.
They're making all of our studio dreams come true. I'll tell you, it looks nice in
They're
there.
getting you authentic signatures from your favorite sports stars. And it's not just sports. There's all kinds of other awesome movie knickknacks and things, collectibles.
I just saw they gave away a Back to the Future autographed script by Mr. Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, exactly. This is the collector's dream, Pristine Auction. And right now, you're getting ready to celebrate your fantasy championship. A signed jersey of a player who took you to the ship. That's a great way to do it. And right now, I'm looking at a T.Y. Hilton jersey signed. I'm looking at a LeGarrette Blount jersey, a guy Andy loves this week, signed. Julian Edelman signed jersey. I mean, they got crazy stuff, and they have new stuff every single day, and it's more affordable than you could ever imagine. Head over to Pristine Auction. That's PRISTINE auction.com. You make a completely free account, and when you do that, you let them know that the Fantasy Footballer sent you.
You will not be disappointed.
Colts, Raiders, 52.5 point over-under. Definitely in consideration for the maybe the most fantasy relevant game of the week with Derek Carr and Andrew Luck. You've got Gore and Murray facing off, Hilton and Cooper and Crabtree. Oh my, it's going to be a delicious fantasy smorgasbord for the Christmas season. I want to come out and here's what's going on with the Raiders. And you guys share your thoughts on anybody you want to talk about in this matchup. Look, the Colts are 20th against the run, 27th against the pass. The game and the dance and the story for the Raiders lately has been how do you know which wide receiver to start on which week? Last week, I buried Cooper in my rankings. I put Crabtree up high as my start of the week. The matchup just looked that way to me. You had the opposing corner. To me, I've completely flipped it this week. And so I'm hanging my hat on Amari Cooper, and I'm going to officially change my start of the week.
Oh,
Ooh, okay.
Official
this is
start of the week change.
unprecedented.
You knew I wanted Michael Thomas, but you stole him from me.
Yeah.
So I went with Alshon yesterday. After some consideration of Alshon's circumstances, still like Alshon, don't love him anymore. Amari Cooper's my official start of the week. And I think it's important to say because you don't have confidence in a guy when they poop the bed the way they did last week with one reception.
I love this pick so much. I believe Vontae Davis is out, right?
Has he really been in? I mean, he's not played very well at all this year.
True, but either way, they have a hobbled number one corner or none. And so Amari Cooper, I really like that pick in a high-scoring game. I actually think this is the type of game where both Crabtree and Cooper should be able to get it done. But I do like Cooper more than Crabtree this week. That's a good start. On the other side of the ball, a guy that I think there's a lot of worry about, Dante Moncrief, who last we saw him didn't perform well.
Do we have that
got
button?
Injured.
Can't talk about it. Yeah.
Oh, Moncrief. But in a high-scoring game that's going to be back and forth, Moncrief's specialty is those touchdowns near the red zone, and I think he's
all touchdowns are near the red zone for the record.
No,
Don't touch my red zone, bro.
Yeah, all touchdowns happen in the red zone.
not from the red zone.
No.
Well, that was what I was saying.
Okay. You
Red
said
zone
it so
targets.
humorously that I had to Jason Mooreism it. Make sure it shows up.
I mean, T.Y. Hilton's an auto start, right? If
Yes.
he's on your team, he's in.
100%.
Moncrief is the question, and I am thinking that I would start him. You had the question between
I had the Jordan Matthews, Dante Moncrief decision to make. I went with Jordan Matthews, and it.
kept telling you.
Yeah, no, you did. You certainly did. And I just wanted to touch on the running back situation for a different team. Never mind. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm looking further down the list. I apologize.
You're doing well, Mike.
Thank you.
All right. What else do we want to discuss about in this game? Or
You're
are we
starting
moving on?
Latavius Murray.
He disappointed people last week.
Yeah, and so you need to know that you should start him. You're starting Frank Gore as well. I mean, those two guys are very similar in the sense that they're not your upper echelon great players, but they are as solid on the season this year as your second running back in your lineup. I think there are a lot of people with Latavius Murray and Frank Gore in their championship games because those are the type of players that have been consistent and won you matchups. I think you start both those guys. Basically, you start everyone in this game. I would not start Phillip Dorsett.
You guys seem a little sketchy about Derek Carr. You got Phillip Rivers ranked ahead of Derek Carr this week. You got Big Ben ranked ahead of Derek Carr this week. Tell me why.
The matchup is so great. It's just his play has been a little bit erratic since the finger injury. I just have my concerns. And where I was confused on the running backs is because I was thinking about DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry. And this situation is very similar for Bob Turbin and Frank Gore. I was going to talk about the snap counts where Robert Turbin was only on the field for 35% of snaps, which that's okay.
a pretty good amount.
That's okay. He was on for 50% last week or the week before, but 7 carries inside the 10 for Bob Turbin.
Yep. It's the reality you have to live with now as a Gore owner.
Really, since week 9, Bob Turbin is getting carries inside the 10.
Tampa Bay, the Buccaneers travel to New Orleans to take on the Saints, who still have a sliver of playoff hope. And last time these two teams faced off, it was in Tampa, and it was a trap game for fantasy owners because they did not have that big high-scoring production. We had one of our listeners kind of warn us, hey, that might happen. They know each other. They're familiar with one another. Vegas has it at a 52.5-point over-under with the Saints favored by 3. We saw the Saints carve up the secondary of a pretty good team, the Cardinals, last week, at least on the defensive side statistically. 48 points in that game. Brandon Cooks went ham. Michael Thomas looked great. Didn't see a lot from the running backs. Didn't need to last week. How do we see this one shaking out? Is it a repeat of that disappointment we had a couple of weeks ago, or is this the time when we get to cash in on all the hope of Jameis Winston in the playoffs, of Mike Evans, or is this the third straight week that we're disappointed in those guys?
I'm doubling down. I guess I'm tripling down here. That I think this is the Bucs are going to get it going because they will have to. We talked about the scoring. The Saints defense allows, was it 5 more points at home?
Yeah,
right around 4 or 5
30
more
to 25 points.
At home, they allow more points because they score more points, and it just puts more pressure on the defense, and they're not a spectacular unit. They can't, go Baltimore Ravens and shut people down. So I like the Bucs. I like everyone involved in this game. I can't imagine you're in a situation where you're saying, "Yep, I'm benching him. I'm going to sit Brandon Cooks. I'm going to sit Doug Martin." Yeah, it's just
they were in this
I couldn't do it.
situation where the game script didn't work. I mean, it didn't work out for them against Detroit when they were at home. That's the one of the only times in recent memory that my mind was just shocked. You know what I mean? About them being at home and it not coming to fruition. They had garbage time, still didn't get it done. That's the only way that I see this game going wrong is if Tampa gets a defensive score, maybe they run one in, and then the game changes a little bit if New Orleans can't get it going. Even then, I'm not that concerned. The Bucs, they give up big plays in the secondary when they do give it up. The Saints, they score points. I'm excited about this. I'm excited about Cameron Brate. He's rated really highly for me. Is Fleener a lottery ticket for the desperate, or do we just steer clear of the Fleener?
The tight ends, the tight ends this week, it's rough. It's a rough situation. Your studs are out. Ladarius Green, the waiver wire savior, he's going to be out. I'm in one of my dynasty leagues. I'm now pushed to the situation where I'm choosing between Fleener and Pitta. I'm in that barfy tight end. I'm going with Fleener in that situation.
Are you really? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to take the upside of the Superdome.
Yeah, that's it. Splitting your difference with the Superdome.
Yeah.
All right, we've got 6 more games to get through, so I'm going to move on now.
Woo!
The 49ers and the Rams. This game is an over. All right, next. This game's only got a 39.5 point over-under. It's just not going to be good for fantasy, minus one player that I know Jason and I really like. 2 for you, 1 for me.
2 for me.
Todd Gurley.
T for 2.
Todd Gurley is the start of the week for Jason. Would have been mine as well had I not been snaked. So Todd Gurley.
Yeah, and
absolutely love him this week. Redemption story. Save your fantasy team.
If he can't run against the 49ers this week,
he may not be good enough to play in the National Football League.
Everyone, as the season has gone on and the 49ers defense has weakened, everyone has been able to run on them. Todd Gurley will be able to get it going, even with a poor offensive line there. So Todd Gurley's a great play. Also, if you're playing DFS, he's a great play because he's a little bit cheaper than those upper echelon running backs. And he is this week going to be an upper echelon guy. So I really do like him. The 49ers defense has just been I don't have words.
Well, they're
for
traveling.
How bad they are.
They're terrible. We don't like them whatsoever.
And you've got a little bit more hope here in the Rams offense, even including guys like Jared Goff, in the sense that what I don't think will happen on every single 4th and inches near midfield is a punt. With Jeff Fisher gone, you're going to have a little bit more, maybe. At least you have
coaching.
The opportunity for modern coaching. And so, we talk about Jeff Fisher quarterbacks have had such low numbers, and part of that is because he takes the opportunity out of the offense, puts everything on the defense. Hopefully that changes this game. That should be good for Todd Gurley, and I'm not saying start Jared Goff. I certainly wouldn't, but I'm bumping him up a few spots from the bottom. So, he's usually just the last spot.
Sure. And
Mike wants to talk about Carlos Hyde.
Yeah, Carlos Hyde has just been he's been an unstoppable train these last few weeks, and I don't see any reason why the Rams would be able to stop him. They're 19th against the run. Their overall defense is not what you expected from the Rams when the season began. And Carlos Hyde he's the team. He's the 49ers team, and Chip Kelly is not slowing down on giving him touches.
It's a tough situation for me because I moved Hyde down. He's my 15th ranked running back. Last week against Atlanta, he had 7 fantasy points after 4 straight double-digit weeks, and obviously he's running very well. His yards per carry over the last 4 games has been outstanding. Last week you saw the Rams, obviously, divisional matchup, shut down Thomas Rawls in Seattle. to me, the recipe right now is stop Carlos Hyde, make Colin Kaepernick throw the ball. I just don't see running back one upside with Hyde this week. Very startable. He's my 15th ranked. That's how I have him laid out. Jason, why don't you give your perspective on him? Because it looks like you have him at 15 as well.
Yeah, I think you illustrated it well. What Mike is pointing out is that Carlos Hyde has just been running great. Last week, people are very disappointed in his fantasy production because he didn't score a touchdown and he did fumble. So that kind of swung his numbers. But his actual rushing production, 13 for 71, was very good.
That's 5.5 yards a carry.
Yeah, and if you look over the last month and a half, he's been doing that every single game. So I agree. I agree with Andy. I mean, this is the stop Carlos Hyde game for the Los Angeles Rams. They have a good defensive line.
Well, I say you talk about the change at coaching staff. You did see a better defensive performance from them.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Billy Belichick knew the score. He knew it was try and stop Carlos Hyde, yet he ran 19 for 86 against the Patriots. I mean, Hyde is not stoppable right now, and so a poor defense to me is not going to stop him.
Cardinals, Seahawks up in Seattle. Seattle is favored by 8.5 in this game. 43-point over/under. Look, a lot of names, right? A lot of names in this game with Palmer and Wilson and Johnson and Rawls and Fitz and Baldwin and Lockett, Graham. I mean, where do you begin on telling the story of how this game's going to play out? The Cardinals, they are sacking the quarterback at an impressive rate. The offensive line for Seattle has not been strong. Palmer is averaging a ton of pass attempts per game, third most in the league. So is there a chance for Arizona to do enough on the offensive side of the ball in this game to give more than David Johnson a chance in fantasy football?
There's a chance. We had the Cardinals have had some recent success up in Seattle. David Johnson, you play David Johnson. I've seen a couple tweets of the matchup up in Seattle. Play David Johnson.
Yeah,
14 straight games of over 100 all-purpose yards, right?
Yeah, including a matchup against Seattle. I know it was at home, but he looked very good in that game. He didn't score a touchdown, but he still had his yardage total was outrageous.
Yeah, you can't really stop him. So, he got you here. Don't put him on the bench.
Right.
Yeah, I think the guy that you can still play from Arizona that isn't named David Johnson is Larry Fitzgerald. Since 2014, basically the new, Bruce Arians, good Cardinals against a good Seattle team. Fitz has had good games against them, and there's always been those, I can't play Fitz against Seattle and their great passing defense, but in the last 4 games, he's actually averaged a full point more against Seattle than his average in all the games outside of that. Over a reception more a game. They need him. They need Larry Fitzgerald when you're going up against Seattle. And so, he is involved, and I would be fine. I am starting Larry in one of my championship games.
Doug Baldwin, Tyler Lockett. Where do you see those guys finishing this week?
Doug Baldwin, I think he's a fine play. They move him all over. I mean, he's a great slot wide receiver. That's not generally the Patrick Peterson area. Tyler Lockett is back. Man, his speed is back, and we've seen
not according to Jason's rankings.
Well,
I've always been the anti-Lockett.
He's got some boom bust in him for sure, but he has that big play ability. And what I was saying, we've seen firsthand, Tyler Lockett has the jets to get past Patrick Peterson. So I'm okay. Go if you want to go with the Hail Mary play of Lockett. he would be a piece of my roster that he's my flex play where I know that he's volatile. I know that I have a safe baseline of points everywhere else, and he's kind of putting me over the top.
Last guy I think that's important for us to talk about because there's going to be a lot of questions about Jimmy Graham.
I'm benching him.
Yeah, right? Because, Arizona's been great against tight end, and Jimmy Graham hasn't really shown up for the last few weeks.
And you know who's back? Tyler Lockett.
So you're thinking it's for those reasons.
Well, it's Tyler Lockett is back to health.
Cardinals are good against tight ends.
Cardinals are great against tight end, and Jimmy Graham with Luke Wilson also playing has been not nearly as effective as well.
Yeah, we saw Wilson almost have 2 touchdowns a couple of weeks ago.
I mean, I just think it's hard because if you're in the championship, you got Jimmy Graham. Your waiver options, are you benching him for a C.J. Fedorowicz or Ryan Griffin?
I would. Not Ryan
Wow,
Griffin.
that's
but
a strong sit for you.
Yeah. I'm not playing him.
I would not. If I could find, I would probably play Antonio Gates over him.
It's hard to find upside like that you have with Jimmy Graham.
I completely agree.
Obviously,
but I just don't see any upside for him this week.
Yeah, you have him down at 19 this week against the Cardinals, where we both have him at 8. So you put your money where your mouth is.
Yep.
All right, Saturday night game, the Christmas Eve evening game. Bengals, Texans. This game's almost heads up here. We got the Texans favored by a point at home, 41.5 point over under. The Savage takes control of the offense and faces Andy Dalton, faces A.J. Green, now returning to the lineup. How do you see this one shaking out? I mean, you have kind of some question marks all over this game, right? You have Hill and A.J. Green both dealing with injuries. It looks like Hill's going to start. Lamar Miller dealing with injury. DeAndre Hopkins, fresh off a 17-target game, but a season of failure before that. So, you know, I think we're all pretty confident in Hopkins.
Yeah.
Confident enough
I'm
to play him this week?
I'm confident because I think that the volume will be there. It's not the –
They only score really 9 points a game, man. That's how bad Brock's been.
It's not a terribly scary matchup against the Bengals who are 13th against the pass, but it's by no means great. Still, Hopkins, elite-level player, will actually get targets and more accurate targets than Brock Osweiler can throw, in my opinion. So he's a must-play for me.
Jason has no thoughts on any of these players.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a difficult game. I do think this is going to be low scoring. With all these question marks, I don't think that all these question marks with a really good Texans defense is going to turn into a shootout. And so if it's low scoring and I'm worried about injured guys, I'm hoping that I've got better options. You know, we said earlier about Lamar Miller. I think there's going to be a lot of teams that need to start him, and I think you're going to be somewhat okay but disappointed. I would rather, and that's how I see A.J. Green. That's how I see even DeAndre Hopkins. Hopkins is my favorite of that group of questionable guys, but this game isn't one that excites me. The players aren't.
Andy Dalton's been a flex or start of the week consideration the past 2 weeks. We all have him in the early 20s. 23 is our consensus rank for him.
Texans pass defense. I mean,
yeah,
Boye is playing out of his mind.
And Eifert looks like he's not healthy right now. So for me, there's not much that I really like here. I would say Jeremy Hill might be one of the better plays in this game.
I agree.
Okay.
I actually agree with that, yeah.
And you're both obviously starting Tom Savage.
Oh, yeah, the Savage.
Must start over Brady.
How about just
I hope somebody does that because they think you're serious.
Just a temperature check. Now with A.J. Green back, is Boyd back to the bench?
Yeah.
For you?
Yep.
Okay.
He might have been there anyway.
It's just he had more opportunity.
Yeah,
lately.
he did. Let's move into the Christmas games. All right, we've got a pair of them. We have the Broncos Chiefs. We have the Ravens and Steelers. Let's start there. Flacco and Big Ben. Big Ben finally returns home.
Come on, Big Ben. I need you, Big Ben.
Is that where he keeps like his
touchdowns?
His touchdowns.
That's where he's got,
under his bed.
Yep, he's got the touchdowns in a locker under his bed.
See, I was going to go performance-enhancing drugs, so I think you took the high road.
Yeah. Do you remember the last time that Big Ben played the Ravens?
At home.
At home?
At home.
What, 5 or 6 touchdowns?
Yeah.
It was 6.
Yeah.
It's nice being at home. 44.5 point over under.
Does Big Ben have the world's greatest mattress?
Yeah.
When
Sleeps
he's at home.
much better.
Is this, or I mean, does he have some kind of weird sleeping situation where he needs to be like upright in a chamber of some kind?
If he has a game at home, which I think we like him, we don't love him. We like him because the last 2 weeks make you not love him.
Yeah, and the Ravens are still a very good defense.
Yeah, Ravens are a good D. They're second against the run, 10th against the pass. Who's the other beneficiary? We know Antonio Brown's in your lineup. You're starting him. Let's not talk about him anymore. Who's the other beneficiary? Is it a Jesse James if Ladarius Green sits? Is it an Eli Rogers?
I think it would be Eli Rogers. He's the guy that's been involved. He's the guy that's healthy right now. And if I had to pick a second target, that's the guy I would be throwing out there would be Rodgers.
It's just more bump to Le'Veon Bell for me.
And that's kind of what it is for me as well. I'm not starting Eli Rodgers. I think Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown can get it done enough where all of Big Ben's production, even if he has a great game, might mostly come from those two assets.
You got Jimmy Smith still not practicing, likely to miss the game. Whew, that's gonna be tough.
On the other side, the second year in a row, the Ravens are throwing the ball more than anybody else in football, despite the fact that it seems like they have some success on the ground when they actually hand it off. 62% of the time, though, they're throwing it. Senior, Wallace, Aiken, Pitta.
Yeah.
You know, for me, if I'm picking one, I'm still picking Steve Smith Senior. He's the go-to guy. He's the player I have the most confidence in to not disappear in this matchup. Do you disagree at the wide receiver position? I know you're probably not excited about anybody.
Yeah, I'm not excited about it. I'm okay playing Smith. I kind of like Wallace in this matchup, but to piggyback on what you were talking about, Baltimore they're second in pass attempts, right? So in the top 10 for passing attempts for teams, there are two teams without 20-plus passing touchdowns. One of them is the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
So despite the high volume, and the other one's the Eagles, by the way. So despite the high passing volume, it's not equaling fantasy success.
In my opinion, the beneficiary of that, right? Because Flacco he's completing passes at 10.1 yards per completion, which is near dead last in the league. The beneficiary of the volume without the touchdowns is those running backs. So if Kenneth Dixon's in the field of play, we saw him with a high volume of catches 2 weeks ago. I think that if the narrative of Pittsburgh taking the lead in this game, having success at home comes to fruition, you're going to see a team playing and guarding against the deep play, giving up the underneath, and allowing Joe Flacco to move the ball
2 weeks ago
inch by inch.
2 weeks ago against the Patriots, when the Patriots got up, that was the week that Dixon had 42 snaps, got a bunch of receptions. So I do think Dixon is a decent play here for two reasons. One, because that game script could happen again, and two, the Steelers are far more beatable on the ground.
Yeah. Sunday Night Football, the Broncos and Chiefs. This is an interesting game. The Chiefs are 3.5-point favorites. Lowest over-under of the week at 37.5. I don't really blame them for that.
Lowest I can remember on the season.
Yeah, it's really low. Really low. They had two good defenses, two okay offenses. Not a lot of confidence floating through this game for me. Really only want to start Ware as a baseline type of player. I think I have him as an RB2 this week. I mean, Travis Kelce, you're probably starting him. I mean,
yes.
I don't have a fear of Kelce not producing something. So where else do we go in this matchup? I mean,
you're going to play the two defenses, which are really the stars of this game. I think you can start the Broncos against the Chiefs and the Chiefs against the Broncos. I mean, in
sure.
It's rare that you start both sides of the defense in the same game. There's not a lot. I mean, you might have to start Demaryius Thomas. He's a talented enough guy where, he can get his. But
I wouldn't be sitting him or Sanders, I don't think. But
I
they're
don't
both
wanna,
in that 2-3 range.
I don't want to sit them, but you might have you got to lower your expectations for sure. Spencer Ware, you guys still okay playing him? I know
I said he's a 2 for me.
Yeah, okay. And the Chiefs are not they've gotten better since getting healthier on the defensive side of the ball. Justin Forsett seems to be the primary running back for the Broncos. Do you have any confidence throwing him out for your fantasy
Confidence,
championship?
no. Willingness, yes.
Okay.
I have a willingness to throw him out there. If you don't have a better situation, you're a Matt Forte owner, you don't have Bilal Powell, you lost Forte, and now you've been piecing together your running back core for the last few weeks with the Derrick Henrys or Justin Forsetts or whatever it is. I'm okay rolling him out there. He's going to have enough volume to not destroy you. I don't see any upside.
Yeah. I mean, he had 14 touches last week, but what is he going to do against Kansas City? I'm very my heart is very unwilling to start.
It's an important game for Kansas City too. They're fighting for that division. If the Colts knock off the Raiders and Kansas City wins this game, I believe they take over the division lead.
Woo!
So it is an important game for them. They're at home. I'm with you. So Monday night we have the Lions and the Cowboys. Cowboys clinched the home field, 7-point favorites, 44.5-point over-under here. Interesting game. Last week I went against the Cowboys. I think I'm going to do it again.
Oh, I was just thinking.
What?
Oh.
Andy's almost upset of the week.
Fool me once.
Hey, you nailed it last week.
Did I?
Didn't you?
Yeah, Tampa almost upset them.
So you gave me credit for that?
Yeah, you
Because
only feel
it's
bad
an
about it
almost
because we
upset.
had another bet.
Yeah,
Look, the game's more important this week for Detroit. They play close games and they play them well. I like their opportunity in this game to keep it close. It doesn't mean that I think that they're the better team. I think Dallas is the better team, and they might win the game, but 7 points is too much. So I'll take the Lions in the almost upset of the week. Theo Riddick.
probably out. So here's a
you're probably out.
Here's
So.
a question for Justin Forsett. It's a Justin Forsett.
Let me get him on the phone. One sec.
Justin Forsett, or Dwayne Washington.
Give me all the Justin Forsett I can handle.
Oh,
Dwayne Washington.
This is a very strong stance.
Dwayne Washington is so high on so many different lists that I have seen. Theo Riddick's out. Oh, you got Dwayne Washington. He's really fast and he's good on these metrics. He stinks. Look, I'm just so disappointed in Dwayne Washington on the season. He got 14 carries last week. That's great.
If you've never had a double-digit fantasy game in your career, you don't deserve to be started in championship week.
He got 31 yards on 14 carries. So what in the world are you hoping for against the number 2 ranked defense against running backs for fantasy football?
Sit him down.
Don't touch Dwayne Washington. Yeah, I mean, I just told you my heart did not want to start Justin Forsett, and I would give him I would embrace.
So you're starting Joik Bell then?
A heart hug.
I'm not starting a running back from the Detroit Lions.
Would this talk you into it?
Maybe just for entertainment.
We can only hope.
The glory play. If I
That's
can
not
start,
that's like Sean Mannion level. All right, we talked about Zeke. We broke all that down in the quick question, so you can go back and listen to that if you want to hear our perspective on Zeke. The bottom line is we're starting him. Des Bryant, you should have a lot of confidence. It looks like Darius Slay might miss this game.
Yep.
That's trouble.
Which is unfortunate. With that name, you should really be playing
On
right
Christmas?
around Christmas. Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Except he's the AY spelling, so it's
Yeah.
like the evil Santa.
yeah, we're on radio, though, so, I mean, I'm just going to pretend.
Darius Slay.
Oh, like you're killing somebody.
Yeah, have you not seen those? Those are great Christmas movies.
The Darius Slay movies? What?
No, where Santa goes on a rampage of not giving out toys.
Oh, yeah, that's our family tradition. We watched that. We watched that one on Christmas
We
Eve.
watch Scrooge, and then
Right,
we watch Krampus.
Yeah, you keep them in line.
So Andy, if the Lions are going to almost upset the Cowboys,
How are they possibly?
How
gonna
are they
do
going
it?
to do it? What weapons are going to get this job done?
It's going to be a hodgepodge like it's been all season. It's going to be Golden Tate by far and away the best play, especially in PPR leagues in this matchup. You've got Anquan Bolden mixed in there, Marvin Jones with a couple of deep passes, Eric Ebron catching his 4 balls for 50 yards and probably no touchdowns.
Well, to be fair, Will Tye last night he went over his allotted budget of 2 receptions.
It's Christmas time.
Yeah, so maybe Ebron can. Maybe
Yeah, maybe.
it will be on Christmas.
Are you confident in Golden Tate like I am? Confident
Yes,
enough to play him.
yes.
I mean,
yeah,
he's been playing.
I like Tate.
He's been playing well.
He's balling out.
They need him. So, look, we're gonna get into. I'm gonna give us a couple minutes of mailbag here.
Oh, Christmas bonus.
Christmas bonus coming your way.
Mailbag.
I don't know.
World was
Hey guys,
that?
it's Trey Turner from Bowling Green, Kentucky. Helped me reach my first playoff championship this year, and had a question in regards to running backs. I've got to start 2 and set 1 between Jonathan Stewart, Spencer Ware, and Bilal Powell. Currently, I've got Ware and Stewart starting, but
Blah, blah.
my gut feelings tell me to start Powell. Just let me know what you think. Thanks again. Love the show.
I'm going to give Spencer Ware a hearty handshake, a thankful pat on the back, and I'm going to say
Thank you for your
just
service.
Rest here on the bench.
Yeah, follow your instincts,
Hey
my
guys,
friend.
this is Anna from.
Sorry, I didn't mean to start that one so
Jumping
soon.
ahead.
I was letting you do it. Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think the upside of Powell is just so great. The check downs, the opportunity for him to just be that. I mean,
He didn't
the
score,
garbage man.
He didn't score a touchdown last week, and he was like a top 5 running back. When you get that kind of volume, he doesn't need a touchdown. I really like that.
If you have a question, you go to the website, thefantasyfootballers.com. You can also dial the voicemail hotline, which you just heard, at 302-464-TFFB. Here's another voicemail question.
Hey guys, this is Anna from New York City.
New York City.
To your season advice and draft tip, I'm in the finals in both of my leagues.
Nice.
I'm playing Elliott and DeMarco Murray in a standard league, but should my flex be Miller, Rawls, or Henry? Thanks for helping me to the finals, and I wanted to say, Mike, I stand by the man bun. Don't let the guys get you down.
Ah.
Yeah.
All right. It's a great question, and
great
I have a
question.
crazy answer.
I know my answer that I would start in this situation, and mine is going to be not crazy.
If you are favored on paper in this game, I am 100% starting Derrick Henry along with DeMarco Murray against Jacksonville. I am 100% doing that. Lamar Miller, the injury, he could be off the field. If you're favored, you cannot afford Lamar Miller limping off the field in the first quarter. Rawls, okay, I'm fine with it. He's more upside than Henry playing against a really, really good run D in Arizona. I don't want that. I'm going Derrick Henry. Last week he looked great. He has high quantity of carries. No matter how the game script goes in Jacksonville, Jason looks like he's just digesting the words.
Yes,
he's chewing them up. He's trying to figure it out. I'm going Elliott, Murray, Henry. Unless I'm an underdog. If I'm an underdog, I'm going Rawls.
Either way, I'm gonna go with Rawls. Henry was on the field for under 26% of the snaps. I know he got the touchdowns, but that's what that's like a Mike Gillislee play, and where you're hoping he gets the touchdowns. That's for me. I'm gonna take Rawls. I know the Cardinals, they do have a pretty solid.
He had 2 touchdowns last week, just so you know.
Yeah, I said he got the touchdowns.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear the plural.
But the Arizona has given up some fantasy points to the running back, so I'm going to go with Rawls.
And we're going to – I assume because of the man bun, she's going to take your advice to start Rawls, but I am actually going with the third of the trifecta. I would start Lamar Miller here, assuming he's not –
You're going to take the risk of the guy who – with the ankle?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Lamar Miller has played through every injury he's pretty much ever had. He's, I believe, the longest active starting running back in the NFL right now for consecutive starts. He'll play. He'll do all right. Cincinnati's the 20th ranked team against running backs. And while I said I'd move him down, I also said I think in most situations you're still going to start him. And this is one of those situations. That would be my guess.
So the what we taught you there, and I forget what her name was, pick your favorite footballer.
Yes.
And go with them on this pick, because we all had a different story there. And that's so much of what fantasy football is. It's the way the games play out. It's the narrative. It's what you need from your team. Are you ahead? Are you behind? Are you favored? Are you the underdog? So if you have questions, send them into the show. We appreciate all your support. This is going to be obviously our last show before Christmas. So Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to everybody out there.
Happy championships.
Happy championships to everybody.
And
You heard her mention it too, the UDK, the Ultimate Draft Kit. We're going to have that again next year. Everybody that supports us over at Join the Foot gets a discount on that. So check out jointhefoot.com, our fantasy community. It's a great place to hang out. We're a year-long show, not just the season.
Whew.
And we keep it going into January, February. We know how much you enjoy the show on your commutes. Keeping football in the back of your mind in the offseason, really the front of your mind. It makes it so much fun heading into draft season. It's a great time of year. So thank you for your support. Check out jointhefoot.com. Join our community. Come chat with us.
Yeah, you sound like if I was listening, I would be worried. I'd be like, oh, are they going away after the? We're here Monday, people. So if you're in your Week 17 championship,
Yes, do not fret.
No doubt about it. No, we're not going away. We're just going. We're gonna go hang out under the tree.
that's right.
We're a little present.
How are you going to get under the tree?
I'm too.
How do you think Santa does it?
Wait?
Santa goes under the tree, under my tree.
He goes under your tree?
Yeah.
It's weird.
Deal with it.
Just deal with it.
Santa's a mole.
Hey, thank you again to NatureBox for sponsoring today's show. They make snacks that actually taste good and are better for you. Created with high-quality ingredients that are free from all those artificial colors and flavors and sweeteners, so you can feel great about snacking. Or for us, you can feel great about getting that, giving it to the kids, and they're not getting poisoned.
Yeah.
Right now, you'll save even more. NatureBox is giving Fantasy Footballers listeners 50% off your first order. Go to naturebox.com/footballers. That's naturebox.com/footballers. Have a great holiday, everybody.
Thank you for your support. When you got that trophy, that championship, you got to get a trophy for it. FantasyJocks.com, promo footballers, something like that.
Bye.
See you Monday.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.